right, guys, it is opening day at Gardens on Green. We are up bright and early, headed over, and we've got our Gardens on Green shirts on, which we're so excited about. And we figured we would bring you guys along with us. I'm sure it's going to be a busy day, so I don't know how much we'll have time to film, but hopefully we can capture some of it because I think it's going to be so cool. It's a beautiful day, too. It's going to be almost 90 degrees in the first week of April. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a fun one, and I hope we're super busy, and if you guys are in Charlotte, I hope that we see you. Here we are. Day one at Gardens on Green is a success. It's in the books. We were there all day long. It was sunny and beautiful. We had a huge rush in the morning.
It was insane.
Yeah, it trickled out in the afternoon, and we just had so much fun talking to people. Some of you came out, and we're so grateful that we got to meet you and hang out and just chat with you. It was just such a great day. What do you think?
It was amazing. It felt like a blur.
Yeah.
Like the first hour felt really long. Like I remember feeling like, oh my God, it was only the first hour and it was so crazy. But then the day just went by like that. And we had planned to film a bunch of content and stuff throughout the day, but we just didn't even get to that. So here we are. Yes. In our garden. Celebratory drinks.
Yes. Cheers to a great first day at Gardens on Green.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got a good night's sleep last night. Yesterday was the first day, the opening day of Gardens on Green, and it was so incredible.
Yeah.
I honestly think, it just blew my mind how many people came out. I mean, I know last night we came home and we had, a drink and, celebrated, but just waking up this morning and thinking about it, it's so surreal. And we have to tell you, the gates swung open at 9 o'clock, and there were people there immediately.
Yeah, which was we opened at 9, which is, I guess, a little late. Some garden centers open earlier than that, but, people were ready. And I think that speaks to, people paying attention and us trying to get the word out. But it was really cool to see. And then this morning, waking up, seeing, what people are posting from yesterday and just kind of seeing people take the stuff that we picked out and going and enjoying it is really, really cool. And honestly, inspiring to continue and keep choosing really cool product for folks to come and enjoy.
Yeah, we're getting so much positive feedback, and I don't know, this is our dream, and it's just so much fun to see it all come to life and to see people enjoy it. But it's also nice to rest.
Yeah.
So today, we're closed on Sundays, and today is Sunday. And so that means we get to jump into our gardening.
Yeah, so you just saw us right behind. We brought out all of the seedlings we've been growing indoors, and we are going to start the very annoying hardening off process. It's my least favorite part of growing seeds. So if you're not familiar, when you're growing seeds indoors, if you were to just bring them out and plant them, chances are they will burn within, I mean, I've seen it happen within the first day or so with something like coleus, but going from indoor conditions where the climate is pretty controlled and we don't have real sun inside, obviously. When you bring them outside and they do get that direct sunlight all day long, it's really harsh for them. So we start with 1 hour in kind of like a shady spot. And luckily today it's pretty cloudy. So this is like the perfect day to start.
Yeah.
So I have a timer set for an hour. We'll leave them out here and then take them back inside. And then tomorrow we'll do maybe an hour and a half. It is also supposed to rain tomorrow. And I have made this mistake before of just putting them out in the rain and being like, oh, they'll get watered on, it's fine. And then they like never recover.
They get flooded.
Yeah, so if it is raining, you can still put them outside, but you want to put them like on like your front porch or somewhere that is covered so that they don't get that rain as well, because that can hurt them. So lots of good stuff there. And then you'll notice we have potted up. Here, I'll show you. So we have taken some of these and potted them up in larger containers. So these are from Bootstrap Farmer, and we probably should get, they're a little dirty. I was messy. We probably should get a bigger size than this, but I love the colors of these pots. I think these are the 2-inch. They're very aesthetic, which we love.
Yeah.
So we did get these. You can fit 32 of these in a single tray. So I kind of separated, which I'll show you guys how I do this later on. But from a tray of little grasses, I now have 24 blue grama grass. So
it's going to be a grassy year over here.
I don't know where we're going to put all these, but so we're running out of room inside. So we're hardening everything off, and then we'll bump the rest of the stuff up to these bigger sizes. So.
And we'll explain a lot more to you guys on what we're growing whenever we keep bumping them up. And then when we plant them out, we've got a lot of geraniums and grasses and some really fun stuff.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
So today we have a lot of work to do. We will see what we get to. But we're going to start by pulling all of our tulips. And if you remember from our tulip tour, we talked about how here in the South we treat tulips as annuals. Yep. So unfortunately, it is a task we have to do every year, planting tulips in the fall and then pulling them in the spring. But it's cool because it like reveals the garden. Yeah. Especially under the oak tree in the front, you'll see once we pull, you'll realize how much is actually planted in there and how big it is already.
Yeah, and for those of you that aren't in the South, like this isn't normal, I don't think, anywhere else. Yeah. Like for us to have tulips in bloom or just going out of bloom, and then to have the garden so awake by this time, I think most of the country is probably like tulips, and then the tulips are gone.
And then there's a little break.
And then there's a little break, but we just don't really have that here, so that's why we get that fun reveal moment. So, there's just so much growing in the garden, and we have hostas up everywhere, and it's just beautiful. So before we get started, why don't we walk you guys around and show you what's blooming, because it's really, really beautiful. Okay, so first of all, if you guys don't do this, that's fine, but we are rehydrating some of our bare root plants that we just got in from our friends over at Bailey Nurseries. There's some really fun stuff in there. Obviously, it doesn't look like much right now, but it will look glorious in a few weeks. And whenever we get bare root, we like to rehydrate in some water just because they may have been in a box or something for a few days. And that way we have a little bit of time before we can get to them and plant them in the ground. So the garden, as you can see, is looking so, so pretty. There is a layer of pollen and oak blooms. I don't know if you guys have these where you're from, but I'll show you. We have these little wormy oak blooms because we have a giant oak tree right by our garden. And every year they rain from the sky in mass and land and just turn the garden brown. And so you can see all of that beautiful compost that we put down has a beautiful brown layer of little wormy oak blooms on it now. So, but here's all of our trees and everything that we've just planted are just waking up, and it's so nice. We've got this already sort of in bloom. This is a weigilla, and it's got blooms all over it. That'll probably get a little bit bigger as we go. We still have violas in bloom. We have all of our hostas coming out that we're gonna have to move in a few weeks. Obviously, we've got these hostas here, but look at these Amsonia. So this is one of our favorite plants. This sometimes called blue star, but look at that color in the garden, especially with this blue spruce. It's so gorgeous. We've got our smoke bush back there. Chartreuse, obviously, against this silver is just really, really showing off for the garden.
Back here in the shade area, we've got probably one of my favorite perennials. This is spot on pulmonaria or lungwort. And it's a little bit smaller than the one we have in the front, which is great for this little compact area. And then once the blooms are done, you still get this really cool foliage.
Okay, so the first thing that we are going to start with today is our planter box. And as you can see, it has really been like going for it. And all of our tulips that you guys saw are done now. And our cabbages that are all in here from when we planted them in the fall, they have all bloomed out, which some people let cabbages bloom and some people don't. We thought it was really pretty. And honestly, at the time, we didn't have a lot of blooms in the garden, and so we wanted the garden to be able to wake up and the bees to have something to pollinate, and so we went ahead and let it go for it. But look at this. It's so crazy looking now, just seeing everything in full bloom. But we are going to go ahead and pull all of those today. We're going to pull all of the tulips, and we're going to see what we've got to work with for this planter box, because we definitely want to get it planted up in the next week or two with our summer annuals and have it all gorgeous and blooming before we have our next garden tour.
Also, just wanted to call out, if you're hearing shouting in the background, right on the other side of these woods, there is a soccer field. And it sounds like they're playing some games today, so you might hear some screaming in the background every now and then, but everyone's having fun, I promise. It's just some soccer happening today. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
Oh my God.
You ready? Okay, so we've got all of our tulips out of the ground, and some of them were super easy because, like we said, it was revealing the beautiful garden underneath. Some of them, like the Verachik, were super hard in the cottage bed because they were still in bloom. I'm sure tomorrow they would have all fallen apart, and we would have been upset that we didn't take them today, but we went ahead and got them, and it was a little bit hard.
So now we're going to move on to planting some stuff. So we have 3 items that are a priority today. And anything that we get done after that will just be a bonus because we definitely have more, but these are our priorities. So we have a standing ovation service berry that will get about 4 feet wide, 15 feet tall, really pretty white flowers. I mean, in photos, it is just covered with white flowers in the spring. And those flowers will turn to berries later on in the season, which the birds will love to go and munch on.
Yeah.
We are going to put that back a little bit because we're concerned the berries might make a little bit of a mess. So we don't want to put it like close to the driveway or close to the deck here, just in case they do, but we'll at least get to watch the birds enjoy them out in the garden. Second thing is an opening day viburnum, and those get pretty big. So where we're going to put it is tight.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, it will be beautiful. So I think we have some time on that one. And then we have a lemon meringue baptisia. And I think the lemon meringue baptisia is the perennial of the year for proven winners this year. It's a pretty compact perennial, about 3 by 3, but it has beautiful yellow bloom stalks that come up early spring. And the one we have is covered in buds. So that's why we want to make sure we get it in the ground today so it can bloom out in the garden. And anything after that is going to be a bonus. So what you'll also notice, most of the places where we're planting today, we're also going to be moving things out.
Yep.
So since we connected this flower bed here with the shed bed back this way, we've got a lot of stuff that we need to adjust. So this is going to be a game of chess, checkers.
It's going to be a puzzle.
A puzzle,
Yeah.
some kind of game. But as we plant stuff, there will be stuff that we've got to move out. So we do have some extra containers, some extra potting soil, just in case we don't get to them today. We can at least pot them up, and they will survive. But let's get started and see what we can get done.
Let's do it. All right, so we got our top 3 priorities done, and it feels like we got a lot of gardening done in a really short span of time. So let's walk you around the garden and show you what we did.
Okay, so we're gonna start here. This is a rose of Sharon called Blue Chiffon that we dug out from the back corner of the shed bed. This will get about 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. Old rose of Sharon used to grow like a vase. This will grow like a shrub, sort of like a ball over time. We did trim it back just a little bit, try to get a little bit more branching and a denser plant, but this will be really nice. Blue bloom here in a couple of months, and we replaced it with something back here in the back. So if you'll follow me, we've got a lot of mess to clean up in here, but back here, we've got the standing ovation service berry. Now this will get, if you can imagine, about 4 feet wide, 15 feet tall. And like I said, it will have the white blooms that will go to berries. So you can really see this all the way to the deck and the patio, which will be really great for bird watching once we get the berries. Brian loves to get his camera out here when the birds are munching and snap away photos. So I'm excited to see this fill in. Up here, we have a viburnum called Opening Day. And when we were pulling these out as bare root, we were just amazed at how big the plants were to begin with. So this will bloom white, kind of, I think all the way down the stem, but this will get really big. It will get 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. So as our Bonnie Blue spruce grows over the next 5 to 6 years, we might have to end up moving this, but I think for now it's in the perfect spot. There's not going to be much planted around it. We've got some more stuff we're going to move and take out. So this will be able to just kind of fill in this spot over time. And we can see this also from the deck. So that's the other thing is as we were planting, we made sure to walk around all angles, which is something you want to make sure you do in your garden, because the last thing you want to do is plant something and, you know, from this angle, it looks beautiful. And then you finish up and you walk around to the other side and it's completely blocked by something else. So always good to make sure you get all of your angles perfect. And so here were some Amsonia that we moved all the way underneath our new red bud. So these are the storm cloud Amsonia. It's also called blue star sometimes. Now, these are really angry at us right now, but I think that they will rebound. It's also gonna rain all day tomorrow, so they'll get watered in really nicely. And these will kind of just become a shrub. So once the bloom is over in another week or two, this will just become foliage. And the advice that we actually got from Walter's Gardens was to cut this back about 6 to 8 inches from the ground, and it will give you a denser plant as it grows through the season. And then in the fall, this will all turn bright yellow, which will be really, really cool underneath the red of the red bud. And you know, this is kind of like a star perennial for us, especially early spring. So it's nice to have it here as a focal point. Last thing is we dug up this insane French vanilla hibiscus, which I think this is an older variety from Proven Winners that they don't offer anymore. And so we really want to make sure we can save this. So until we can get it planted, we're going to pot it up in some soil so it can grow on. As you can see, it is starting to shoot up. So we want to make sure that we give it good protection and some soil so it can continue. Over here, where the hibiscus was, we popped in a lemon meringue baptisia. Now this will be much smaller than the French vanilla hibiscus. So the hibiscus got, I would say, pushing 6 feet. I think that's taller than they're supposed to get, but we just get a lot of runoff here in this area. So it was really tall, and that would be competing with the tricolor willow now. So we popped in lemon meringue baptisia. We'll get about 3 feet wide and tall, which will be perfect. And I think over the next few years, it will kind of fill in and shroud the trunk of the tricolor willow, which will be really nice and give us some nice greenery. So this is very similar to the Amsonia in that once we get those bloom stalks, cut those off and you just have green for the rest of the season. And then it dies all the way back down for the winter. So there won't be anything here for winter, which is kind of nice. But during the season, we'll have that green backing, which will be great. So I think now what we're gonna try to do, we've got a little bit more time today in the garden. We've got a ton of hostas here that were under the old trees that were here, and they are going to get burnt if we leave them. So we're gonna start digging these up and putting these elsewhere in the garden, maybe even dividing, like some of these back here. They're just huge. Like, look at this. This is at least 2 plants, maybe even 3. Most of these are just kind of a random assortment. I do know this one is water slide. You can see it's super blue, kind of has squiggly edges, which is nice. So we will find new home for these in our garden elsewhere, where they'll get much more shade. Okay, so we got the water slide hostas moved, and we also got one more astilbe moved, which It's like this
it was
big.
really small. So the vole got this one. We had a trio of 3 in the island bed around the trees, and I believe that they bloom white. And we already moved 2 of them, which were really bulky and beautiful. We already moved 2 of them over to the entryway garden. And this last one got eaten by the vole, and he was just so puny that I hope he survives and bulks up pretty quickly if he does. So we got that moved. The 2 water slide hostas are gorgeous. Same thing there. One of them's beautiful and big, and one of them got eaten by the vole, so he's really small.
The story of our garden.
It really is. But both things, if they get healthy and leaf out, will be gorgeous. And I think we really needed the silver in the entryway garden here. That was your idea, and I think it was a really smart idea because we have all the other colors.
So we have red from the hukra.
Yeah.
We have yellow from the hakanakloa and the tractor seed. What is ligularia?
Yes, but that's just the bloom.
I call it tractor seed.
Yes.
But that counts. That's the bloom.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have green.
Yep.
Because we have other green foliage in there, but we were missing
The silver blue. Yeah.
So the water slide hosta definitely fit that bill.
Yes. So we are pooped, though.
Yeah.
Being at the shop yesterday took a lot more out of us than we thought. It was a really sunny day, too, so it was very hot, and that just takes all your energy. So,
and my feet hurt so bad.
Yes.
Just standing up all day long was exhausting. So I think that's all the gardening we're going to do for today. So we are going to call it a day. So we're going to clean up a little bit and head inside and take a shower. But this was a lot of fun, and we got a lot of stuff accomplished.
Yep.
Successful day. Thanks so much for watching today's video. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.